Assalamualaikum everyone. So let's start today's class and today we will cover past past some topics and review the basics of grammar from a book. And let me share my screen. So here we go. If anyone have question from past lectures or any topic regarding grammar, you can ask. Otherwise, we will continue today's lecture. So actually, this is a well-written book and grammar for IELTS writing, especially. So we will by David S. Mills. We will explore the topics from parts of speech, and while we learn parts of speech, looking at the parts of speech. Okay. Then chapter 2, present tenses, past tenses, future tenses. Okay. Let's dive into chapter 1. Okay, in English language, all words can be broken down into 8 categories. They are nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverb, preposition, conjunction, pronouns, and interjection. Some people argue that the articles a, in, the, or separate category called article or determiners. However, you can include these as a sort of adjective in most textbooks. The list at parts of speech, so that's what we will use here to avoid confusion. We will look at these in more depth after we ask important questions. Why learn parts of speech for IELTS or DET or any exam? In order to do well in IELTS, you need to have a good knowledge of English. That's pretty obvious, right? But how can you know the language well unless you know the basic structure? If you want to learn new words, you need to know how to use them. You should know some really basic things like adjective and add details to noun. Adverb gives more information about verbs, pronouns, replace nouns. It is tremendous important that you understand these basics so that you can then develop more advanced skills. In English, we have saying you need to walk before you can run. So here we understand that why English grammar is important and how can we understand it. This is true language too. If you want to speak at IELTS level 7 level, you have to work your way up from the basic. I often tell my students they need to master the simple sentence before they can try to complex sentence. Even when you get the more advanced grammatical structure, you should be thinking in terms of parts of speech. Let's take the IELTS reading exam for an example. If you are reading passage about trees and you come to the phrase deciduous trees, how can parts of speech help us? Well, trees is of course noun and clearly deciduous is giving something information about the tree. Therefore, it is an adjective. We can then start work out the deciduous must be a kind of tree. Look for clues in the text as it what exactly deciduous tree is. When we produce English for speaking and writing exams, we can take model language and build it up similar so that the production of language feels natural. For example, adjectives usually appear before the noun they describe. So I'm reading this because these are the simple basics of the importance and what this book will cover. If anyone regarding have question or and want to add, you can stop me and then we will continue further. So just let me know whenever you have any kind of question. So we will look at together. Okay. Looking at the parts of his speech. Let's now take each of the parts of a speech in turn to explore its meaning. Noun definition: a person, place, idea, or thing. Example: France, a mountain, Steven, sheep, escape, socialism. Sentences: the moon is bright, John is reading the book. Okay, then pronoun. Now we are going to understand the 8 parts of a speech one by one. And first we covered noun. Noun is very simple parts of a speech and everyone can understand it. And this is a name and pronoun. A definition. A pronoun replaces a noun. Sometimes this is done to avoid repetition. So pronoun is used for noun and it is help to prevent repetition. Example: he, his, her, I, we. Okay. Sentences: they wanted us to go with them. He asked her to the dance, but she said no. Now adjectives. Definition: an adjective describes changes or gives extra information about a noun or pronoun. So what will adjective do? Describe changes or give extra information. For what? Noun and pronoun. Long, high, read fast, British, angry. These are the examples of adjective. Let's see the sentence. The tall man looked at the beautiful woman. So the tall and beautiful are the adjectives which are describing noun. So we can understand this. The yellow car stopped by the big supermarket. Now you see the yellow and big are adjectives again used for noun. Note: there are different kinds of adjective. First one, descriptive, difficult or cheap, and then proper, Japanese, Italian, name of any country or any city name, and quantitative, in some, many, more, large. These are the types of adjective. An adverb describes a verb, adjective, or even another adverb. They often end in ly. So adverb help to describe the verb, adjective, or even the adverb. Okay, and they often end in ly. So whenever we encounter an adverb, we see that it is ly combination. So examples: quickly, silently, cunningsingly, amusingly, frankly, eventually, oily. Sentences: she quick ran out to get help. Quickly. Else quickly. He drove carefully to the village. Carefully. Carefully and quickly are the adverbs. Now verb. A verb is usually an action but may also indicate a state of being. Okay. So verb is used for action, but sometimes it's also used to describe a state of being. For example, think, run, dance, think, believe. If we see the usage of sentences, he studies English so he can go to the America. So here is studies are go showing the example verb, and they think they can beat their rivals. So think and beat are the verb. So we are just covering the understanding actual means getting overview of the parts of speech, but when we get to know in the sentence, it will definitely help us to figure out how they are used in every sentences. So I know these are very simple topics, but we are getting a review of the past topics and repeat going to repeat again. That's why. Okay, conjunction. A conjunction joins two words or group of words and can connect clauses. So in sentence, when you have to connect two ideas, sometimes or connect make we say that sometimes when we have to make complex sentences, then we also use conjunction. But here, if we say that in simple words, a conjunction joins two words or group of words. Maybe there is a complete sentence, but if you say that words, so where conjunction is used. Examples, but and or yet. So and yes, sentences. They want to go skiing, but it's too expensive. Okay, sometimes yeah, they show the results, but okay. But here they are used to join the two sentences or phrases or clauses. She ate ice cream and cake for the dessert. So and but are used for as a conjunction. Then we see the preposition. It shows the relationship between noun or pronoun and another word. For example, on, at, in, from, about. The keys are on the table. So here, preposition shows relationship with noun. Keys, where are the keys? On the table. She sat near the door. So she said. If we say simply, she said the door. Said the door. It it probably not making good sense, but and feels like a incomplete sentence. But we are using preposition, then we can see that how it's making complete sense. Even though we are if we the keys or the table. So again, it's difficult to understand where actually the keys are. So to point to noted here, or without parts of speech, you are not able to understand properly. So you have to get good grip on the parts of speech, and then you will see how you can understand each sentences and make the meaning clearly. Okay. Then interjection, a word or phrase that express emotions. So mostly we English. Sometimes it is used very short, but we have to understand it. Wow, I watch and out. Out that side. Wow, that's all amazing. So these are the simple definitions of parts of speech. Now let's see the details further. And building sentence with parts of speech. Of course, the purpose of knowing these parts of speech is better to understand language. They can help you to decode sentence meaning, but they can also help you to produce better sentence. The purpose of this book, build language of the let's answer. Okay. So parts of speech help us to understand the sentences and how they means in every sentence, in every word comes shows represents parts of his speech. So once we understand them clearly, we were able to recognize them easily. Now here are some examples in further. At most basic sentence can sometimes be one word like interjection or verb. 1 minute. Okay. And the most basic sentence can be sometimes be one word or like interjection or verb. Verb, interjection, run, hey. However, to make proper sentence requires at least noun or adverb. Noun or verb that can express complete thoughts or idea. So Frank reads, okay. We can add verbs, noun to perform a specific meaning or replace the noun with a pronoun to avoid repetition. Like he likes computer. Here he is pronoun likes verb and noun computers. Okay. Adverbs and adjectives. Can later verbs and nouns give our language more colors. So if we if we are using adjectives, it means we are polishing or upgrading our language more in an effective way. Peter has nice parents. Sally plays piano beautifully. So here you see how adjectives and adverbs helping in sentences. Preposition gives us more information about where and when something happens. She walked to the shop slowly. Now you here see how the parts of a speech helps to make complete sentence. Conjunctions. They like noisy cars, but I hate them. So conjunction allows us to add multiple clauses in the one sentence. Okay, let's move towards tenses and we understand now parts of speech. So if anyone have question, you can ask. Otherwise, we will now move towards tenses. Okay, let's start tenses and present tenses. Take a piece of paper and draw two lines through the middle, one from top to bottom and another from left to right. You end up with a grid split into four sections. Number one section, something you do every day. Number two section, something you are doing right now. Number three, something you did in the past and on a specified time. Number four, something you started in the past that you are still doing now. So, first of all, we have to take the paper and write down all the sentences according to number. Here are my examples. I eat breakfast every day. I'm looking at a computer screen right now. I have swim with sharks. I have been living in the Asia for 10 years. These are the four present tenses in English. What are the tenses? We say that there are 12 tenses in English. They are divided up to like this: three times past, present, future, and four aspects: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Now, if you want to do well in IELTS, it's really important to know that these tenses. However, if you find some of them very difficult, don't worry. It has been estimated that present simple and past simple make up 80% of the language. So even though you don't know the complete same parts of speech or no tenses in English, but you know very well about the present tense and past tense, you are good to go. Because 80% of your language in English is in the present past. Okay. In IELTS, you will commonly be asked about your past and present and only basic plans for the future, so you don't need to know all the tenses perfectly. Here's the table planning how tenses work. Let's see. As we see here, three tenses like past, present, future, and four aspects: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Now, starting from simple, I ate chocolate yesterday. Now, there for present, I eat chocolate yesterday. Future, I will eat chocolate tomorrow. Here you see, in present we use past form, second form of the word, and in past, and in present we use first form of the word, and in future we use will. It shows it shows future. If we say same sentence in present tense continuous, I was eating chocolate late when I saw her. So this is the past example. Past tenses sentences. Now present. I'm eating chocolate right now. Okay. Future. I will be eating chocolate when we meet. Okay. Perfect. I had eaten the chocolate when you got there. I have eaten all of the chocolate. I will have eaten all of the chocolate by the time you will see. So now you see how perfect tense is used for past, present, and future. Perfect continuous. I had been eating chocolate for 2 hours present. I have been eating chocolate for 2 hours. I will have eaten chocolate for the 2 hours. You say here in perfect we use in past tense had and have and will have. Okay. But in perfect continuous we use had been with ing plus ing. Have or had Been plus ing. Okay. Present simple. In any of the tenses, you can form positive or negative or interrogative question sentence. Positive talk, I talk, you talk, we talk, they talk. Negative, I do not talk, you do not talk. Question, do I talk, do you talk, do we talk, or do they talk? Okay. Note that the written English we usually write do not and does not. However, in the spoken English, this is contract, contracted to don't and doesn't. In the IELTS exam, you should try to follow this rule. When you present simple, when to use present simple. The present simple is very common tense and it has many uses. Here are some of them. Routine, actions. If you have to describe your routines or actions, you can use present simple. He goes to the market every weekend. We ride our bike to school. Okay. Now let's see another fact. Facts and permanent situations. If you have to describe facts and permanent situations, you can use again present simple tense. Like the sky is blue, the sun rises in the east. So whenever you have to describe facts, you can use simple present simple tense. Direction or instructions. Again, you have to remember when you are describing directions or instructions, then you can use present simple tense. Turn right at the corner and walk for 50 meters. So usually in present simple tense we use of s and es with verb properly and then first form of the verb. So that's all. Okay. So now the key things here we can remember whenever we are encountering for writing or as speaking question in front of examiner. If he or she are asking about routine actions, usually everyone this question mostly possible. They tell me about yourself and you have to describe your activities, what you are doing, and where are you living, what is your hobby. So you can you have to encounter with routine actions. Then facts and permanent situations probably that will be also come and direction and instructions when you have to answer the question like where you are living or where you get educated in the past. Then you have to describe direction and instructions and use. Okay. Now let's see when using the third person or singular, meaning he, she, it, you must add an s to the end of the verb. However, there are few rules about that. Generally works. Generally, you add s end of the s form of the verb. Walks like walks, talks, sits, eats, finds. If the verb ends in y, you should remove the y and replace it with an I and before adding IES. So sometimes cry become cries, try become tries, try become tries, hurry become hurries, bury become buries. Okay. If the verb ends in one of the following case, you should instead add es to the end os, z, x. CH, watch, watches, fix, fixes, mix, mixes, wash, washes, go, goes. When the third person singular is used with the auxiliary verb do, as in the negative or interrogative form, auxiliary verb take s, and so they so the main verb does not need it. Present continuous. Present continuous is sometimes called the present progressive. However, as the most textbook refer to it as the continuous. I will use the term here, and it is formed by using to be and then verb plus ing. Okay, so here are positive and negative and question. I am singing, I'm not singing. Am I singing? You are singing. You are not singing. Are you singing? We are singing. We are not singing. They are they singing. Okay. So these are some examples of positive and negative sentence in the present simple tense or continuous present continuous tense. Again, be carefully of contractions. In writing, we should say that or not, but in the spoken English, it is more common to use or not. When to use present continuous, there are many times when we could use present continuous. Here are some of the common instances. For an action that is happening as we speak, I am doing some housework. She talking with that man. For something that is going ongoing but is not necessarily happening right now, then you can use present continuous tense. I'm reading a book called On the Road. They are studying to be a doctors. To describe developing situations, it is getting dark outside. The weather is turning cold. Referring to regular action usually work at this time. We normally on our way we home by now. Usually working at this time. Note a note on use. Number one and two from the list above are confused students. The first one is straightforward. I'm reading a book and could be mean that I'm holding a book and actively reading in the moment of speaking. However, if I read the book every night before bed, I may also say I'm reading a book. Think if it is the way imagine you are sitting at a dinner with a period with a friend or talking about your life. You haven't seen each other in a while, so you want to catch up with some general information about your life. You tell her something about instant. I'm not studying to be vet anymore. I changed my major and now I'm studying to be dentist. My brother is going to night school to train the newcomer. Non-continuous verb. It, It may sound like you can describe any action with the present continuous, but this is not true. There are actually many non-continuous verbs that these are generated generally verbs that abstract that describes a state of feelings. This sort of things you can't really see someone do. They include prefer, hate, wish, love, remember, believe, imagine, know. Examples: I believe in God. So you don't need hair. Sometimes inform, SES, or you can say do and does, or be informed. However, however, they can't say perfect, present perfect. The next present tense is the perfect. As we saw in the main verb tense table above, it is formed with have or has, the past participle form of the verb. Let's see examples. Positive, negative, and question. I have visited Paris. I have not visited Paris. Have I visited Paris? So, very simple. First of all, we have used visit have in the perfect tense and third form of the verb. And if we are doing negative of the first sentence, then we use have not visited Paris. If you are making question, we can use have before starting with the sentence. Then it becomes question. When to use present perfect? Present perfect can be a little trickier than the other present tenses, so let's look closely at three of uses. A finished action or a state that occurred at the indefinite time in the past. I have been to France. She has eaten sushi. They have learned Chinese. Each of these actions occurred, but we don't state exactly when they occurred. This is very common but also quite vague. It could refer to an isolated event that is either long or short, something that happened repeatedly or something that we are truly over a long period of time. Basically, it refers something that definitely has happened and no particular time is stated. Something that happened in the past but may be happening again in the future because the time is not yet finished. It has rained today. She has had four coffees this morning. They have been to the office twice this afternoon. So, as we understand that where we can use present perfect tense. In each of the situations, there's a time period that is still continuing. Today, this morning, this afternoon, and although the action have already occurred, they may be repeated again. For example, in the first sentence, it is it has already rained, but it might rain again. Similarly, the previous rules, present perfect can also be used in events started with the past and may or may not be continued in the future. We have lived in the Beijing for 6 years. So here you see that examples he have been living for 6 years in the Beijing and not sure about the future where he go. There have been a couple since 2012, a past action from 2012 and represent the future into the future, continue into the future. Maybe they are couple or not. I, I have worked in finance for almost a decade, 10 years. Notice the use of since and for. We often use these with present perfect. For is followed by the period of time for 5 months, is for 2 days, etc. And since is used to refer to point in time. Since last Friday, since 1998. Present perfect continuous. As the name suggests, the tense includes elements of the present perfect and continuous tenses, namely includes both have, has, and past participle been plus the verb in form look like this. I have been studying positive sentence. I have not been studying negative. Have I been studying question? Where you see that have plus been plus in form is used to make present perfect continuous tense. In the meantime, if anyone have question regarding today's topic, or you can ask. Otherwise, we will move towards and next. Mm, This tense is less common than previous three and has more specific application for describing an ongoing activity on and the length of the time that it has come on. I have been learning Spanish for 6 months. We have been eating dating for 2 years. Okay, let's move towards past tenses. But our time is almost done. And if anyone have question, you can ask. Otherwise, I can share with this PDF and Slack channel. So in the meantime, if anyone have question, you can ask. Otherwise, we do our done. So here in this book, you will get know all the usage and proper explanation where you can use and how you can use with the key points and remembering techniques. So if you read this book, that will definitely help you a lot for IELTS as well as DT exam, and it will get improve your all tenses clearly. So thank you for joining today, and our time of session is almost completed. And now we have to end the session. So you can ask any question regarding this. Otherwise, we will going to end this session today. Okay, if anyone don't have a question, we are going to let's call it a day and take care of yourself. Okay, bye bye.